Hello, welcome back to the Villa View. We're at Villa Park today with Luke Roper to preview England and the World Cup in general, have a look at how we see the tournament going and how we see England faring. As I said, we're with Luke Roper. You'll notice I'm wearing one of the new Luke Roper pieces that's been brought out especially for the World Cup. I was going to say celebrating England, but actually it's probably commiserating England more than anything. If you want to pick yourself up this shirt or any of the shirts you see on this video or any Luke Roper gear in general, then head to their website, use the code TVV20 at checkout and you will get 20% off. Hello, welcome to the Villa View. We're here in the Luke Roper box at Villa Park to take a look at what we think England might do in this World Cup. As you can see, we're wearing one of Luke's new ranges, which is very, very nice. And if you do want to get 20% off it, then make sure you head to the Luke Roper website and use the code TVV20 and you'll get 20% off these tops and everything else that Luke has to offer. There are other discount codes that do the rounds for Luke, but ignore them. They're not as special. So I'm joined by Ty, who obviously is on the Villa View quite a lot, and Max, who's part of another channel but does also come on the Villa View from time to time.
We're all friends here.
We are all friends.
We're all Villa on tour.
Joint effort.
That's why we're here doing this podcast. Villa Park's looking great today, by the way, in the sun, isn't it? Yeah. I don't know how much it's coming across on camera.
It was raining when we got here, so it's nice.
It looks good now. Obviously, we had a great weekend at Villa Park as well. We're doing this just after Villa have beaten Manchester United at Villa Park, but just before England's squad is announced. So we are here to talk England. Max. I felt relatively confident going into Euro 2020. I think I did some shows and stuff. I actually predicted that England would get to the final, and they did. But I've got to be honest, I'm not feeling the same kind of optimism this time round.
No, and I think that's sort of based on, it's just friendlies, isn't it? I watched back the Euros preview that we did in here, and we said the same again about how dross and boring the friendlies are to watch. But yeah, this World Cup, I think, because of where it is and everything that's going on around it, nobody's really bothered about it. I know that's not ideal saying it at the start of a podcast that we're going to talk about it. I'm sure when it rolls around, we'll all be up for it.
You'll be watching every game. No, like I will. I'll be watching every single game.
Yeah, I'll be watching Senegal versus Qatar, whatever, on at 1 o'clock while I'm at work. Of course I will. But in terms of England, I'm not the biggest England fan anyway. Like I'm so club over country just because it's so dross. I mean, let us know in the comments what you're thinking in terms of club over country.
I disagree with that.
Why?
I don't know. My preference is for Villa to do well because it would mean more to me that if Villa won something.
Why do we have to have a favourite? Can't we just?
Shall I tell you why?
Villa?
Shall I tell you why? It's
on,
because Villa, you're in a closed Villa group. Like not everyone in the country is Villa, so you can have a go at people and have like little digs. But with England, I don't want to celebrate with other clubs' fans. I don't know. That's just me. I like Villa, the Villa family.
Although I did watch the last World Cup in a blues pub.
Did you?
In Solihull, yeah.
I just can't get on board.
It was a good pub though, so it was just one of them. It was a good pub. There's no club talk when England are on, is there? No.
So. What about you? You fancy England or not?
I definitely don't watch any friendlies or qualifiers.
Didn't watch the Nations League debacle.
What even is that? What even is that?
It just bores the life out of me. And I don't mean, I love the Euros and it's a good time to spend time with family and friends and whatnot, but a Winter World Cup
it's not great.
So strange, and I hope it's the first and last, if I'm completely honest. So
I don't think it'll ever happen again. I think this will be the last time after. It's kind of made the Premier League a bit weird as well because you've kind of been waiting for this break. A lot of clubs have been waiting for the break to make changes, but it's here now. The big struggle is with England. I mean, we're here to talk about them, and we've tried to pick our 11 of what we would like it to be and what we think it should be, but it's difficult because that Southgate does have his favourites. There's certain players that will get picked, whatever. So when we're picking our teams, it almost feels pointless putting certain players in because Maguire, for example, even though he's played barely any football for the last 2 months, not only is he going, he'll probably start. Yeah. Southgate's reasoning with those kind of things, I can kind of see it because there's players that have been involved with him for a long time that he trusts. Every manager has his favourites. I think if Maguire, when he was playing for Manchester United, was playing well, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But when he's been so erratic for 12 to 18 months now, that's where you start to worry that not only is he probably not match fit, but mentally it feels like his head's gone a little bit as well.
Maguire is going to start. It's going to be one of them things. It's just really frustrating because Southgate, for how many years that we were, blowing the Grealish trumpet, for how many years he said it was based on form, and then you only have to look at the current form of Harry Maguire, and if it is based on current form, he hasn't done what's needed to have that place in the 11. Personally, I really don't believe that. So it's going to be We'll see.
He hasn't played though. He hasn't played. Like, if he was playing, I wouldn't have a problem with it. He's fit. He's
Even if
ready
he
to
wasn't
go.
playing, like he's not playing well, but if he was playing and not playing well, would you still have the same problem with it?
Yeah, because
But he's not playing because of current form.
No. Well, he's not playing at all. It's just the fact that, like Ty said, he contradicts himself, goes off form. No, it doesn't. It goes off who you play for and your favourites. I think that's why a lot of people get wound up by Southgate. It's just he doesn't help himself. That's the annoying thing. He doesn't. Yes, he's done well in the tournaments, and that's the excuse that a lot of journalists say. Look at where he's got to us. Look at where he's got us in tournaments, and I get that.
I would go along with that.
It's got, obviously that means the most, to be honest. Where you've got us in tournaments, he knows how to get far in the tournament, and you don't play pretty football. That's not going to get you to the final. You've got to be a little bit stubborn and a little bit ugly sometimes. I do get that. It's just he doesn't help himself. But if it gets us to win a tournament, fair enough.
But I just get the feeling this time around it's not going to be like the last two. 2018 was a big surprise, the World Cup, really. England did well. Got to the semi. Southgate came up with an inventive system at that time. England had never played three at the back until that tournament. I think for this tournament, it might be something similar where he just throws in something that he's never done before. Like, as I keep saying, we don't know the squad when we're filming, but Reece James is out. That's been announced today. Yeah. He's not going to be playing. There's kind of problems at fullback a little bit. Kyle Walker hasn't played for a month or two.
Which is crazy when you think about how many talented, wing backs we have.
Yeah,
but Trent's off form as well. Although, Southgate doesn't really fancy him at the best of times when he's playing well.
There's only one man for me, yeah.
Yeah, Trippier's
got to be.
We'll come on to the team, but Trippier for me would be
yeah.
Left back, you've suddenly only really got
Luke Shaw.
One option. Luke Shaw. It wouldn't surprise me at the moment if we saw someone like Dan Burn come into the squad. He's not going. He won't pick him though, will he? Midfield options. I don't feel like there's loads of variety. And Henderson's had tons of injuries. Calvin Phillips has played about 15 minutes across the whole season so far. He may play in the League Cup tonight, in which case he may end up getting in the squad, which, to be fair, because there's a lack of options, I can kind of understand that.
You got Bellingham and Rice.
You want Bellingham. I mean, everyone would want Bellingham, not your drink over. Everyone would want Bellingham and Rice to be the midfield pairing, I think, at the moment. But then, beyond that, you kind of think there's Ward-Prowse, Conor Gallagher, and you're thinking, not the best option there. England suddenly looks short in quite a lot of areas, I think. Left back's the big one because Chilwell's out. There's only Luke Shaw, which means Trippier might have to play some of the time at left back. People talk about Ben White, who I would have in my squad, but suddenly it's just not. I'm struggling to name an England 11 based because a few people are out with fitness concerns.
I think we could do an 11. I just think beyond that, I don't think there's much big to come off the bench potentially, or a little bit of rotation.
Well, you'll have Jack and Foden on the bench. I expect to bring on forward wise. For options with playing off Harry Kane, I think England are quite well stacked. But strikers as backup, I'd be reasonably happy with the options England have to have there as well.
Yeah.
It's behind that goalkeeper. Pickford has been really good for England. I've had my doubts about him in the past, but I think he's probably been the best goalkeeper in the Premier League this season, and he's always been good for England. It's that back four and the two in front if anything happens to Rice and Bellingham, which I just think if you look at some of the other squads, Brazil and Argentina are going to be serious in this tournament. I think Holland are better than they used to be. Germany always come alive usually when there's a tournament. Not sure on Spain. Portugal kind of know how to grind their way through a tournament. So I suddenly just look at it and think
it's going to be Ronaldo's last one as well, isn't it?
Well, I bet he tries to play in his 40s in the tournaments. But I kind of just think I don't make England in the top 3 or 4 favourites this time, and I really did for the Euros.
I think it all depends on the path. I mean, I don't want to.
Path's not great.
I don't want to blow the trumpet on it too much and say we've done great. I think we had relatively easy path in the World Cup and the Euros.
Yeah, we did.
You still have to navigate them though, don't you? Because when we had Roy Hodgson as manager, we had Iceland and we couldn't do that.
Yeah.
So you still do have to navigate the teams.
I think this is the up there with the best England squad, in terms of potential young
individual
players.
talent.
Yeah, individual talent that we've had in at least 15 years. The Gerrard, Lampard, Ashley Cole, Beckham era, Rooney. Those days, I think this is the best we've had since then.
It's just how do you make them tick, and I don't think Southgate's the man to do that.
In some ways, it's the defence.
Yeah,
it's the defence I'm unsure of. I agree with what you're saying about the front options. There's a lot of very good players available in the front options, and there'll be players that don't go to that World Cup who are very good footballers.
Should we give it a go?
Shall we?
Should we try and?
Yeah.
Should we give our team?
What are we doing? 11.
This is going to be fun.
Yeah, we'll do the 11.
Formation first and foremost.
Well, that's the other thing. I think because I'm so unsure about England defensively.
It'll be a 4.
I think he'll change depending on the opponent again, like he did in the last one.
So let's just go with a placeholder formation: 4-3-3, 4-4-2,
4-2-3-1 potentially.
4-2-3-1.
All right, Unai.
Yeah, Unai didn't play that, did it?
I'm inspired by Unai.
4-2-3-1. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
I think it suits the players we've got.
Yeah.
I think, especially that midfield.
So we're going to rule out Reece James.
Yeah.
Probably suggest Kyle Walker probably can't start the
Hang on,
tournament.
let's go back a little bit further.
I mean, we know the keeper anyway. There's no
Pickford.
There's no point even talking about the keeper.
Yeah, a few
because we know
people, they always say Pickford's a bit dodgy, but I think
not.
He's not. I think that's
solid for England.
Yeah,
you
is.
saw the games in the Nations League and the recent round of fixtures when Pickford wasn't there.
Yeah, I think it's lazy to blame anything on Pickford.
Ramsdale
really.
didn't have a great time in the Nations League, and Pope was not very good against Germany, was he?
he
So
wasn't.
Pickford is far and away England's best option as goalkeeper. He's also the best with his feet, which Gareth Southgate likes. Pickford's a no-brainer in goal.
Yeah.
Right back, I think Walker will probably go, but will he be fit?
He's been out for a while, hasn't he? He's been
Yeah.
out for a couple of months, has he?
Yeah, that's the thing with this World Cup, just starting straight
Exactly.
away. Like players aren't
tough.
going to have time.
It's really tough.
I'd suggest Southgate, he's ruled Reece James out. He'll know whether Kyle Walker and Calvin Phillips are going to play in the Cup or the weekend games. Like obviously that we're filming before those. He'll know that they're going to be involved, and if they're involved, they'll be in the squad. But I still don't think you can start Kyle Walker. I still don't think you can start him initially.
If he's going to go off form, it's got to be Trippier.
Yeah, Trippier's been one of the best players in the Premier League this season.
I was at Newcastle when we got battered there, and he just ran the show. He's just a different level. He's so consistent as well.
In what way? Because it's hard to run a game from right back. But when you say he ran the show, what do you mean by that?
He just gets up and down, and he creates that. The amount of times Newcastle got down our left-hand side, finding balls, he could clip them over the top. Someone was making a run in behind. He was always finding space and finding other players as well. So I just think he's creative, and he's been consistent, which is really important. And he's fit.
Leader as well, isn't he?
He's under the because obviously it's really tough outside the top six to make an impression. In England, it is. We can say there's not a top six bias. There is.
Yeah, there is.
He is the standout right back for me. If he was playing for Man City, Liverpool, Man United, whoever, people would be raving about him week in, week out, 100%.
Did you see Micah Richards the other night? That basically that Man City kept Micah Richards. Then Micah Richards and Kieran Trippier came through together, and Micah Richards was kept and Trippier was let go. And Micah Richards is now a pundit on the telly.
Yeah, that's due to injury, though, isn't it?
Yeah, and Kieran
They're
Trippier
the
is
same
running
sort of
games.
age?
Yeah, similar age them two, I believe.
Crazy.
Not too far off each other. So yeah, they were both there at the same time. Micah Richards was laughing at the fact that Kieran Trippier was let go and he was kept.
And now he's going to start in a World Cup.
Yes.
Mad.
And he should, he's, to be fair, when he's been fit, he's probably Southgate's picked him anyway. He definitely prefers him over
He
Trent.
played at left back, didn't he? Was it in the Euros? He played at left back.
He's played some
Southgate
time
clearly
at left
likes
back.
him.
Yeah, you know what? I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
So who are we going right back then? Kyle Walker or Trippier?
Trippier for me.
Yeah, Trippier. Yeah, agreed.
Down to form and fitness, I think it's a risk to play someone who hasn't played for months.
100%.
Left back probably picks itself.
Yeah,
like
it's got to
goalkeeper.
be. It's got to be.
The good thing is, though, and we saw him score here on Sunday, which wasn't a good thing, but Luke Shaw at least has been playing, because the last England squad, the last round of games, he was out the team, but he's got himself back in now and has been on good form. And again, Luke Shaw, probably over the last year or two, has been one of England's strongest performers.
I don't think there's any other strong candidates really as well. With Chilwell's injury, I don't think there's any.
Well, this is the problem now. Who like Shaw has had issues with fitness in the past, so who's going to this tournament as backup left back?
He'd probably be a right back.
But we haven't got enough right backs to do that now. We had
Probably a centre back.
Well, we've
probably
got more
have.
right backs than left backs.
Well, because we only got one left back.
I would comfortably play Kyle Walker at left back.
Nah.
Yeah, but you got to remember, so Pep works in a system where he converted Cancelo to a left back and he was a right
That's
back.
Cancelo, though.
Yeah, but it's the same system, innit? I'm sure Kyle Walker equally has that.
England don't play the football like Man City does.
No, I'm aware of that, but I'm talking from a coaching point of view, who coaches them all round.
Yeah, but then you could say, well, has Kyle Walker never played left back for Man City then?
Because Cancelo probably does it better.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I get that. But there is no other left back. Like Mitchell at Palace has got a couple of caps.
I don't think it's something to worry about, though, because we only have to look at Don Ashley Young himself, of how he's performed at left back.
Get him in the squad.
He came in, didn't he, in 2018 from absolutely nowhere, and was a big. I mean, he's not going to come in this time. But even like someone like Matt Targett's not playing for Newcastle. Dan Burns playing left back for Newcastle. I think he might end up in the squad. He's in the 55. I think there's a chance Dan Burns.
You're in the
might
55,
end up,
then,
to be fair, you do well not to be in that 55, especially with the injuries and just with it being so many people. But There really is. There isn't anyone, is there?
Nah, he'll be sure. And then even like you said, Tyrico Henry, I'd rather see that than a right back playing left back. It just makes me uncomfortable.
I guess he'll take loads of centre backs instead now, and Ben White could play right back and Trippier go to left back.
It's just silly. Just put a left back in there.
Saka can play left back in an emergency.
No way.
In an emergency.
He's played there for England before. He wouldn't surprise me.
Especially if three at the back. Saka
an
would play as
emergency,
left
but
but sometimes you need to factor in these things for a tournament, or you've got to factor in the emergency.
Yeah, fair.
But Luke Shaw, right?
Yes.
With that.
Okay.
Centre backs again. I think one is no-brainer.
I think we're all agreed on Stones, aren't we?
I think Stones was England's best player in the Euros.
Yeah, but I think
top class.
I was at the Man City Dortmund games and he scored an absolute rocket. Just a name drop there. I was at the Man City Dortmund games. No, it wasn't actually. I didn't vlog that game. No, that's just a bit of fun. Just a bit of fun.
I thought you only went to football to vlog.
Nah, of course not, man. I go for the enjoyment. I do actually watch the games.
See the little dig. You always have to have a little dig.
I know. I'm just jealous.
Bit of podcast banter.
No, John Stones, it's got to be. He's very consistent. He's been good this season, hands down.
Yeah, I really rate John Stones. He used to have a bit of an error in him, but
he did. I remember even at Villa Park, was it during lockdown? He made him. Did he get sent off? I remember when John McGinn scored within about 15 seconds, or did he get injured?
I vaguely remember something happened with John Stones.
Yeah, he's had a mistake in him before, to be fair.
Not
recently.
Now. No, not now.
Nah,
now
he's cut it out.
He's England's best centre half.
Yeah.
In fact, I think he's England's best centre half by quite a distance.
Yeah.
So we've got him at right centre back. And then a left centre back is a nightmare.
Split between a few. Take your pick. You
say that, but
Connor Cody.
I wouldn't like to see him on the left centre
Harry
back.
Maguire.
I mean, that's who it'll be.
It will be Maguire. Even Tyrone Mings,
I
though.
forgot about Dyer, because Dyer's back
he
into
had
being
a
one of the
stinker on the weekend.
He did.
Dyer suddenly come off. Dyer got an England recall, has suddenly been really off colour ever since then.
Yeah.
I think he's there as more of a back three option, Eric Dyer, who can potentially cover central midfield if needs be.
Just slow though, isn't he? It's just.
Nah, I think we're short in the centre back region. Tamori for me, it's Tamori all day.
I'm not even 100% sure Tamori will go. He didn't even play anything in the last round of
If he played in the Premier League, he'd be going potentially starting. It's because he plays for AC Milan. It's
100%.
as simple as that.
I know you're not saying it like that. It's almost like you're saying because he plays for AC Milan, he's not being considered, which is mad.
It is mad, but it's what it is.
Media talk, it's really tough, isn't it? Because, people probably aren't looking at the likes of what Tammy Abraham's doing over there. There's a lot of English footballers
great season last
going
time,
abroad who are doing good things. Hudson-Odoi.
Abraham will go, but
he's in Germany. There's loads of English players, Bellingham, that are all starting to, go elsewhere outside of England, and they go under the radar with how well they do, because some people just don't follow the European leagues.
And we're obviously sat here at Villa Park. I mean, I think Mings should be in the squad. I'm not saying he should be starting. I don't think he will be in the squad. I think he hasn't been in the last couple. Mings has been excellent for Villa this season, bar one game.
I think if you take the mistake out, I seriously can't fault him. I'm not.
I can't remember whether you're I'm a Mings lover.
No, I am a Mings lover. I'm 100% a Mings lover.
When we were here, I might be remembering this wrong. When we were here at the start of the season, we were picking our 11s. I don't think Mings was in your 11. Have I imagined?
Yeah, but this is when we had Diego Carlos fit. And he plays left centre back, so I
can't play right, but
yeah. But his predominant position is left centre back. So the only reason I dropped him was Diego Carlos weren't coming in as a rotation centre back. He was coming to start every week.
It's a different.
Predominantly plays on the left centre, but then Konza stepped up, hasn't he? Again, I seen a stat this morning. I can't remember what the stat was, but Konza was in the top 3. I know that's really helpful.
Yeah, thanks.
It was something to do with. I think it was something to do with Ben White. I can't remember what it was. That was it. It was something to do with statistics, like percentage of 1 versus 1 when someone's running at them and how many times they've been...
Like a duel.
Yeah, they've been dribbled past.
Yeah.
And Konza was in the top 3 of brick walls.
I remember seeing that stat a couple of years ago as well. He very rarely gets dribble past.
I mean, we shouldn't be here talking about Ezri Konza really, because he's definitely not going to be in the squad. But Mings should go, because the advantage is he's left-footed. There's no other left-footed option that I can think of.
He's got experience in the England squad. He's done well in the England squad. He played in the Euros. He started that first game, and he's been our player of the season.
Has he ever lost for England?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, he has played absolute bums, but
he has played some big games as well. Croatia in the Euros, in the Euros.
Yeah, his first game, wasn't it?
That's a big game.
Yeah,
it's a tough game.
And he's done well. He's never disappointed for England, has he? I can't remember him ever slipping up.
And that was the thing that annoyed me about Maguire, is that because some of the reasons Southgate used for Mings not being in the squad, every single one of them and more can be levelled at Maguire now.
I'd like to think it's a bit more fun when we get out of the defence.
What about Gay at Palace?
Is he better than Mings?
I think he'll be in the squad.
Do you?
Yeah, probably.
He's had a few caps, hasn't
he
he?
plays left centre back. He's right. He's probably a bit more both-footed.
Yeah.
I feel like we might as well just pick Maguire. There's literally no point doing anything else.
We all know.
That's what's going to happen, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'd be a big shock if he isn't starting every game.
The one positive I can come up with for that, and it probably turns into a negative, is at least he's got that relationship with Shaw next to him. But Manchester United just look all over the place when
Clutching
Maguire
the
plays.
straws, isn't it?
That is
So who you got in front of the defence then?
I think it speaks for itself.
Rice is in.
It has to be Rice and Bellingham in a
Yeah, it
double
does.
pivot. If we're going 4-2-3-1, which Max chose the formation, it has to be them two.
It does.
If Phillips was fit, I think he comes into conversation because he was very good for England in that Euros.
Yeah, but
and I do like the
places
way.
here.
But I'd actually play. I think you could play all three of them and not play the number 10.
Yeah, but we've
we've
chose
decided
a
on the formation.
4-2-3-1.
Yeah, I'd pick Rice and Bellingham.
We've only picked a 4-2-3-1 based on the fact that Phillips isn't going to play.
Yeah,
If Phillips was fit, then
That's
I
right.
agree with you. You could get the three of them in there, and I'll be all for that.
that last round of fixtures for England, especially the Germany game at Wembley, Bellingham was absolutely unbelievable, and he's added goals to his game this season for Dortmund. But he is like a proper talent.
A lot of goals come through the midfield, don't they? And I feel like we have probably got one of the best. If you had a three in the middle, in whatever shape you play, if you had a three in the middle of Phillips, Bellingham, and Rice, I really think that is like up there with the best three.
Maybe
Nation-wise, up there. It's definitely in top three in nations of the best midfield in the world.
I'd say there's probably a lack of creativity.
Yeah,
in there.
there's a lack of
a lack of a passer. A lack of a passer.
I think Bellingham's got a pass in him.
No, he has, but he's not. That's not his. Like a Modric, for example, or Kroos, their passing is their main function. That's another thing England don't really, and that's where Phillips probably comes in. I don't think he's at that level.
Yeah.
But he always plays forward and he's good on the ball. Phillips, he doesn't really give the ball away, he can rake a pass. I think England would miss that if he doesn't play, but I do think because he's only played 15 minutes all season, it's Rice and Bellingham. But because it's Southgate, who I actually, I'm a bit more forgiving of Southgate than maybe the average fan. But I kind of feel like there'll be something that means he doesn't play Bellingham and he plays Henderson.
Again, it's
it
one of
wouldn't
his.
surprise you, would it?
It's one of his lads that he can rely on, a bit like Maguire, a bit like Pickford. He can rely on him. You know what he's going to offer. Again, it's a form thing, though, isn't it? This
That's 15
season.
minutes trying to hold the lead, the experience, pressure for me.
Bring him on.
Yeah, it's an option to bring on,
15
isn't
minutes.
it?
He's one of those players that you definitely want in the squad because you know he'll be really good around the place and in the dressing
100%.
room before the game.
100%.
But I wouldn't want him starting at this point now. Is he 31, 32 now?
And this is
Jordan
last
Henderson?
shot, really. He'll be retired by the next one.
Yeah.
He's struggling. He's starting to really, injuries are starting to bog him down a little bit as well. And so much of his game at one point was his mobility and his pressing, but he's had to adapt. Still a great player, but shouldn't be in the 11. So we've agreed on them. Mm-hmm. Right hand side.
I like Saka.
Has to be Saka for me.
I'm just going to go Saka as well.
Whenever I've watched him in
was
the
a
Premier League, easy. Next,
been good for England. I think he won Player of the Year, didn't he, recently?
On your left, that's the
So we've got Saka on the right. Foden potentially could play on the right.
Sterling.
I do think you've got to get Foden in the team.
I when I was doing my team, I thought about Foden, but
Where do you put Foden in the 10 or on the left?
I think Sterling's got to be on the left purely because of what he offers England. His goals were so crucial in the Euros, so crucial.
Mason Mount is going to start every game.
Put him in the 10 then.
I'd have Mount as my 10, to be honest.
I'd have Foden as the left attacking mid.
No Sterling.
No, I'd start Foden. Foden has had a better season.
I think Mount does a lot. I just don't think Foden. He doesn't play. Never seen him play. It's like Grealish. They never play as number 10s. It's just not the position.
No, I mean
that
out
they play
wide. I think Foden will play. I'd like. To
I don't think he will.
Do you not?
I think it'll be Saka on the right, Mount and Sterling. The thing I like, well, I don't think I like, because of the way England play and because of Harry Kane, who we all will agree is the number 9.
Yeah.
You have to have a bit of pace and people that can go beyond Harry Kane, and that leaves you with Sterling and Saka. Really, there isn't really anyone else.
Look at the positions he gets into. He was always there in the Euros. I'd be watching those England games and thinking, "Oh, Sterling's having a bit of a crap game here," but he'll pop up. He will pop up. The amount of times he was just at the back stick, scoring important goals. He can be frustrating to watch. And I don't think he's had the best season by any stretch at Chelsea. Yeah. But you got to have him in there.
He's one of them players who's got credit in the bank with Southgate, so he's going to start. He's going to start Sterling on the left. I'm 80% he'll probably start Saka on the right. Saka and Mount came on, didn't they, against Germany in the last game England had, and they both made a huge impact.
Yeah, they did.
I'd like to get Jack in the team somehow, but I just because I think international football would really suit him. If you're playing a team like Iran, you probably want someone like Grealish in there to get the free kicks and things like that for players like Trippier with the delivery. Jack's such a good player, and I think that international football suits him. But again, he's not been on great form for Man City. He had a brief purple patch recently where he looked like the player he was at Villa again, but just the way City play probably doesn't suit him. And in some ways, maybe the way England play probably doesn't suit him either, because he's never going to be, Southgate's never going to say, get the ball to Grealish. He'll be a great option off the bench.
Yeah, he will. I think he'll be that man off the bench.
It just feels mad to have Foden and Grealish on the bench. Nice to have them on the bench.
Crazy. Absolute crazy.
But what's your reasoning for taking out the ones we said we'd start? I don't think you can take out Saka.
I just think purely, for me, that pace thing of having people to go beyond.
Yeah, definitely.
And then sometimes I feel Kane because Kane drops so deep, I can't get in each other's way a little bit.
Yeah. That's how he plays at club level as well, isn't it?
Yeah, but he hasn't got that 10 playing behind him at club level. That's the problem. I don't know. That's probably our 11 then, isn't it? I mean, backup strikers to Kane. Again, we don't know who's going at the moment.
Ivan Toney.
I don't think he'll go. I think Tammy will definitely go.
Yeah, Tammy's got to go.
Tammy will go. I think probably just Rashford will go as the third striker.
Yeah, Southgate likes him, doesn't he?
He'll go as the third striker, slack option out wide.
Sancho goes on the...
No chance. No, absolutely not. No, there's as much chance of one of us going as Sancho. You know what I mean? Rashford's another option out wide.
He's been all right recently. I mean, he was terrible here, non-existent, but on the whole recently, he's been all right. He's been okay.
On the right-hand side for them against us.
He got bullied, didn't he? Dendonka bullied him.
He was in the pocket the entire game.
Well, I mean,
but who wasn't?
Yes.
Yeah.
Some Portuguese fella in Mings' pocket as well. Yeah,
Garnacho was Man U's liveliest player here, and he wasn't even that good. Pickford, Trippier, Stones, Maguire, Shaw, Rice, Bellingham, Saka, Mount, Sterling, Kane. I don't think that'll be too far away from the team.
Couple of changes, but I think on the whole, decent team actually. It's not too bad.
That's another reason for having Trippier in there, because people say got to play Trent. He's reinvented the right back, but he's never played particularly well for England. Don't think Southgate's style suits him. He's been a bit all over the place this season.
If James was fit, would you have him in there?
No, I'd still pick Trippier. I like Reece James. I'd still pick Trippier. If I was playing a wing back system, I'd pick Reece James.
Yeah. Pace as well. A lot of Trippier chat on this, isn't there?
I know.
Big fans.
NUFC TV.
Yeah, there you go.